Very entertaining. The winner plays John Higgins or Ding Junhui. They are yet to get going. O'Sullivan didn't necessarily impress against Matthew Stevens, who missed a lot of chances against him, but he's still here, and that makes him as dangerous as ever. Tepchire has come through pretty comfortably, it's got to be said. He beat Peter Devlin 4-2, Fergal O'Brien 4-1, Alan Taylor this morning 4-0.
Yes, it'd be hard not to look forward to a match of this kind of likely furious pace that they'll be playing at. Although Ronnie was a little bit more methodical early than maybe Tepchire is. Circumstances, perhaps. Tepchire's had a lot of matches away from the match table, so he'll have to acclimatise to the conditions. I'm not sure how the others are playing. Seemingly on some of the break building today may be better, but as I said earlier, on this table yesterday we had a 1-4-7 and various other big breaks. Anyway, interesting game.
Guys in the studio talking about the World Championship match. They had played once before that in a German Masters qualifier in Barnsley. Tepchire won 5-4. Sullivan, I don't think particularly wanted to be there and played all out attacking snooker and came a cropper, but he's been very disciplined actually this week.
Yeah, and of course, while that match, the facts are Tepchire won, and people thought that maybe he could do the same at the Crucible. It was a non-event, really, that match. It was maybe the glimpse into what we're about to see for the next 2.5 weeks. So Sullivan playing well, but Tepchire's game looks suited to everything O'Sullivan likes. A fast player, gives you chances. If he's going to beat you, he's going to win frames quickly. I don't think Ronnie minds all that. Players that drag him down a bit are the ones he's had most difficulty with.
12.
Remember, this Northern Ireland Open, each of the last 2 years, the final has been Judd Trump against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Could it be for a 3rd year running? Of course, they are in separate halves. It would, of course, it's a long way to go yet, but it would be their first meeting since O'Sullivan became world champion again.
Yeah, there's definitely a few players standing in their way. Of course, the Yan Bingtao Zhao Jintong match is ongoing. They're 3-all. And it's anybody's in the decider. Those are two very good players. Very different Chinese players, actually, in style. I think Zhao Jintong is quite close to a Nooh in the way that he plays.
Well, we have had another result. Ali Carter has beaten Ben Wollaston. We saw Wollaston beat Neil Robertson, but that was last night. But Carter has come through 4-2. They beat Dominic Dale earlier, so some good wins for Ali Carter.
He's probably under the radar man, isn't he, for the week? You know,
yeah.
Just seeing his results coming through, and he's a top player, Masters finalist this year.
Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan 20.
Strange, because the plant seemed to go straight in as if it was set, and I don't know if that's the case. Let's have another look here. In fairness, there's an argument that Ronnie could have foreseen that happening.
Well, let's see if Tepchire and Nooh can take advantage. Of course, he's in the top 16 now. He's number 15 in the world. So only the second Thai player to get into the elite group after the great James Watanabe. That means that he's in line to appear at the Masters in January.
7.
With a lot of the points raised about Tepchai, there's something a little death-defying about the way he plays. He takes on the big shot, even when he doesn't need to. Just goes out all out to win. Although it doesn't appear he's on the black, he's certainly shaking his head. And be tight. Has to play it with right-hand side to make the pot available. If he hesitates on any shot, there must be something difficult, because he really does. Just knocks them in.
50.
It's a good shot as well, queuing over a ball.
Yeah, I was just watching a lovely interview he did on Bayswatch, the World Snooker magazine show, and just talking about how he discovered snooker, started playing at 13. He said he wasn't sure, though, it was for him. And at the age of 16, a friend of his entered him into a competition. He didn't want to play in it because he didn't think he was good enough. But he got entered into it, did pretty well, started to get the bug for snooker. He said he didn't know any of the top players. He wouldn't recognise an O'Sullivan, a Hendry, but he got a coach who sat him down and gave him a load of Ronnie O'Sullivan videos to watch. He said, this is the sort of level you want to try and get to. And Ronnie became his hero as a result, and now here he is playing him.
41.
But he's starting to crank things up here. The other thing about him is you think of him as an upstart, really, as a player. He's 35. He's not a kid coming through. He's been around a while. He's always managed to play the game in the same way. I think maybe because of his style, you think he is a youthful player.
He won the World Amateur title 2008, came over the following year to play on the Pios Tour, which was a sort of challenge tour in effect in Prestatyn. Bit of a culture shock coming from Thailand to a North Wales holiday camp. But he did pretty well, and he's kept on improving, hasn't he? Very dangerous, the way he plays. And what a chance here to win this opening frame in no time at all after the 54. Bit of misfortune for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Once the red colour, the two reds don't really come into play 55. Until the snookers are required. Might still play the cannon. I don't think he knows any other way. Brilliant.
62.
I don't know whether Ronnie looked at that, that when he knocked the red in up. It seemed set to the pocket from the overhead. I don't know whether he went and had a look and it didn't appear onto him, or he just didn't look and it went in. Of course, it's bad luck if you do knock a red in, but not if it's the banging line. It's something that you can avoid happening.
Well, this break is 3.5 minutes. And it's won him the frame, and this is what he's capable of.
$76.
He was hard at first. He had a wife and young daughter back in Thailand, didn't see them for months on end, but a couple of years ago moved them over here with his son as well now, so much happier in himself because he's based at the Q House Academy in Darlington, got a good base. He's playing the Mark Williams shot here.
81.
He wouldn't want to waste time getting the rest out or anything, would he?
Working on his average shot time, he wants to shave a couple of seconds off it.
85.
So, last 3 balls, and he's opened up with a century. Oh, he's missed the blue. It's a shame. But 85, and that was a quick kill, wasn't it? One chance, and he pounced. So, Thailand speed king, Tepchai Nooh off and running, leading Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1-0.
Yeah, you could never predict. I'm just making the point that players will inspect the bunch of reds very often to see if there is a way that things could go wrong. I'm not sure whether Ronnie did.
Well, it cost him. It was a lovely break, wasn't it, from Tepchai. Just missed the blue to be denied the chance of a century, but you can see that he's already adapted to his first match here on the main table. I think actually he may have played an earlier round, one of the morning matches on it, but even so, he's playing Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's a different story. Yan Bingtao has beaten Zhao Jingtong in the battle of the two young Chinese. 4-3. Kurt Mafflin has beaten Miguel Figueiredo 4-1. So Mafflin plays Ali Carter next in the quarterfinals. Well, an immediate chance here.
One.
First time he played at the Crucible, he drew John Higgins and was beaten. And then he qualified the following year and talked about how difficult a draw it was to draw Higgins at the Crucible, how hard he found it. Press said to him, "Who do you want to draw this year then?" He said John Higgins. I don't know why. Of course, he ended up drawing Judd Trump, and very nearly beat him. That could have been a different story for Judd Trump. Lost 10-9 Tepchire, but was a little unlucky in that decider. And then this year he drew O'Sullivan. So he's at the Crucible. He's played Higgins, Trump, and O'Sullivan.
The trouble is, as a qualifier, you're always going to draw somebody, aren't you? That's a top player. I guess some are more difficult than others, though, as you rightly point out.
Just lost his way there, so having to settle for safety. David Grace has beaten Michael Holt 4-3. Holt was 3-0 up there. So that's a great comeback from the Leeds man. He plays Yan Bingtao next. Former UK semi-finalist David Grace. And a massive, massive, massive snooker fan. I know they all are, but he really is. Put it this way, when he played at the Crucible, he had his name on the dressing room door, and he actually took the sign with his name on and put it on his bedroom door at home.
Well, you miss. Tepchire, Nooh, 4.
Well, it's safe to say Ronnie didn't play at his absolute best earlier. He had a bad middle section of the match with Matthew Stevens, which really Matthew should, for the world, have been 3-1 up. He missed a pretty simple black left-handed. The final black got through. He hasn't really built on that form yet. I know he got in first and knocked the red in, but 2 shots already in this frame. He's misjudged the safeties. So at the moment, Nooh is playing the better snooker, or he's settled better, one of the two.
Well, Tepchire, Nooh, 4.
Played it with left-hand side. To play the cue ball down into that corner, you don't really think that you're going to... The cue ball's going to go all the way in. You couldn't play the shot to go in off if you tried.
One.
I think when you play Tepchire, if he is able to dominate, then he can absolutely just run through a match so quickly, reminding me so much of Tony Drago, who actually contacted me today, an avid snooker watcher, watching all the matches. And good to hear from him, actually, because he's doing a lot better health-wise than he was maybe 18 months ago.
Tepchire, Nooh, 1.
Anyway, Sullivan has been led off there.
Yeah, second chance in this frame. Pink stays out. Yes, if you're watching now, Tony, hello from me as well. Hope you're doing well. What a unbelievably fast player. Never slowed down, did he? All the years he was on the tour, never got any slower.
I maintain, Dave, that
One.
as brilliant as Tip Chai is and as quick as he is, when Tony was a young man coming through, he was the quickest player I've ever seen. I can't imagine anyone that has ever been quicker. It was lightning watching him go around the table. He could win 3 frames in a quarter of an hour.
Yeah, well, he still holds the record for the fastest ever frame, 3 minutes.
6.
O'Sullivan, of course, no slouch in that department either. Happy to get another chance in this frame, the way Tepchai took the first one out.
7.
I think he's just about on the red, but he's got very good cueing. Push the cue ball up the table a little bit here for a lower value colour. Now this is where O'Sullivan's cue ball is always a very strong point. Look where he's finished, absolutely bang on the blue, with nothing to do for the next red.
18. 19. 26. 27.
The reds are a little bit blocking each other off. There is one that goes 4 up, as you can see. Once again, he's now finding his touch in amongst them. This red, of course, releases other reds.
Forty-five.
Again, very well judged. Had to make sure he give it a fraction extra. No, he's gone a little too far there. Right about finishing short, I think, and not being on this red.
43. Forty-eight. 49.
Maybe the Tepchai break inspired O'Sullivan, that 85, which probably should have been a century, because Ronnie was actually watching him intently throughout.
Well, Tepchai's had 2 scoring chances in this frame. Neither came to much. Lost position first time, and then second time missed that pink to the right middle.
57.
Yeah, they both made a mistake each. match has been punished. It's a pretty good game, isn't it? Already. Pretty good shot as well.
62.
Should be enough. Red colour, and frame is in favour of the world champion.
63.
Yes, this match has a sort of kill or be killed quality to it, doesn't it? We have Tepchire and Nooh, who's improved a lot in the last couple of years, and we have Ronnie O'Sullivan, who for the last 3 decades has been brilliant.
71. $78. 79.
Leo Scully and the referee as well being kept on his toes, but I suspect referees prefer matches like this than the real grinds that go on for hours.
$92. 94. 97.
Well, one of the great sights in sport, a Ronnie O'Sullivan century.
101.
And there's another one for the collection. And a timely one as well. And as I say, Tepchire, he had a couple of chances early in this frame. Didn't take them. Ronnie O'Sullivan has stepped in.
Yeah, I think very much a confidence booster for O'Sullivan. I know it sounds odd, but as I say, he's not been at his best today. But, you know, not always very far away from your best. Certainly in this case, a very nice break.
Yeah, a swift 106. And in just 21.5 minutes, we've already had 2 frames played here. Ronnie O'Sullivan and Tepchire and Nooh are level at 1 each.
Tell you, Scott Donaldson 1-4-2. He was the point where up on Sandcom needed snookers, got them all and 3-2 down, but Donaldson won it on the, I think, the pink at the end, so he's through now to play trump.
Another player much improved in recent years, Scott Donaldson, of course, won Championship League last season. And nearly beat Mark Allen in the Champion of Champions, because Allen went on to win the title.
Yeah, it turns out to be his hardest match, didn't it? Winning by the odd frame.
One.
No, that was beautiful. That's there have been times in the last decade of O'Sullivan, even when he's been at his brilliant best, the long pots have not always been going in, but he seems to have found a way of getting them back. You know, as a 16-year-old, when he first turned pro, he was a spellbinding long potter. But it often is the one thing that can desert you as a player through age, but he's seems to have reversed that trend. Beautifully struck. I think, remember when Steve Davis just started to play a little differently, you know, into his 30s, when maybe the halcyon days were gone, his long game went. He was still good at close range, but his long game was not the same.
6. Seven. 14. 50. 20. 21.
It's a calculated risk.
28.
I think anyone learning the game, learning the break building, watching the decision making of O'Sullivan in amongst them is going to make you a better player.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Fortunately,
28.
he missed that one by a long way. He got the reds open, but left himself a bit straight on that red. And he was leapt up very quickly as soon as he hit it. First one he's missed for a little while.
1.
It's for Tepchaya to hit him on the attack. Now the chance has come his way.
Nooh, 1.
Well, he was always a little concerned about that red just on the top cushion. Just slightly hampered him. Could be costly, that miss.
And Ronnie was out of his chair before the ball just stopped rolling. He was thinking it was time to go. As I say, I think the one thing
8.
about O'Sullivan playing Tepchaya and Nooh,
9.
Ronnie is very happy to be at the table, you know, very quickly after the last time. Whatever his opponent has done, he loves a fast tempo match. I don't think he loses many of these sort of games.
16.
Yeah, if you're going to take him on at his own game, you've got to outplay him, which is obviously easier said than done.
70.
Well, this match has only been going 27 minutes, but O'Sullivan closing in on a 2-1 lead.
21. 28. 29.
Interesting choice of shot to screw into the red and the pink there. I don't quite know what his intentions were, but it wasn't quite that. And the black, goodness, this is a tough shot. He won't mind that nudge. He might get a clap, but he's not as good as, even he's not good enough to play that cannon.
47.
Guess he felt with the red on the book cushion that even though the black wasn't guaranteed, it was a risk worth taking, and it looks like it's won in this frame.
Yeah, he's just freewheeling, isn't he? As I say, he's always been the same. Anything like any match like this, where he can just point his cue, see ball, pop ball. Bit of windy pops again for Sullivan tonight.
Well, he was saying, wasn't he? He's had the stomach issues.
Indeed. Hope he's okay. Playing all right.
But again, it's come from a mistake from his opponent. It was a miss pink from Tepchai in the previous frame, a miss blue to the green pocket in this frame.
53.
And as I say, you know, he plays the open game himself, but he's going to have to play it better than Ronnie O'Sullivan tonight to win. And that means not making those errors.
60.
Got Leo Scully on the hop, hasn't he, there?
Ronnie O'Sullivan 60 and the frame.
Well, he's done enough to win the frame.
So another swift break. A 60 from Ronnie O'Sullivan following the miss blue from Tepchai and Nooh. And in just under half an hour, we've already had 3 frames here. This is what we expected from these two. But crucially, it's advantage Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's leading 2-1. Couple that have cost him, a pink and then a blue.
Yes, he's still in the game, Tepchai, and he's likely to get chances. Although, of course, against O'Sullivan, you probably get 1 chance, perhaps. 2 is pushing it. Per frame, perhaps. Here's one already.
Yeah, he's only actually missed 2 balls, but those 2 balls cost him 2 frames.
One.
Having said that, he missed that blue in the first frame, didn't he, when he was on for the century? So he must have missed more than 2. Doesn't want to miss too many more, I guess.
Yeah, I think that always would be a more, or as relevant a stat would be, you know, the balls you miss in actual live play, because you'll see someone could make a century, miss something playing a crowd shot.
7.
Not really a reflection of how he's playing. It's the ones that you miss when the frame is still in the balance, I think, that mean more. Maybe there's a way of sorting that stat out. I know that Gary Wilkinson has some involvement in compiling these stats, because former tour player, knows the game very well. Very good player, Gary. And the world match play back in the day, Gary Wilkinson. The final of that was over best of 35, same as the world final, or certainly a lot of frames.
14.
Yeah, Jimmy actually beat Stephen Hendry in the final over best of 35 in the world match play. Meanwhile, Leo Scullion got to get the black. Can't touch the red.
The shorter format in snooker is, you know, is frowned upon at first. I've got very used to best of 7s now. A period of time when ranking events, it's almost like best of 9 was the absolute minimum you could play. And the shootout being one, which Tepchai, former winner. Really have to play any different to his normal speed. Anyway, chance to go into the bunch here. Watch for plants. I think that might go in. Beautiful. Deserves to be on something. Lovely shot.
Well, if you could buy a split, you'd pay good money for this, wouldn't you? What a chance then.
29.
And didn't take any safe route there up for the blue. Found the gap to get on the black.
Forty-six. Forty-seven.
Of course, he had that agonising moment in the UK Championship a few years ago when he missed the last black from maximum. Did the same in the World Qualifiers, but he has since had a couple in tournament play, thankfully. I think it's the sort of player that if you find out he's playing, you're going to make an effort to watch him.
44. 45.
In the
50.
theory is that the first shot you see is the right shot anyway. I mean, occasionally there'll be a need to change your mind, but I think Tepchai has really taken that theory to the
51.
max. And he has time to see one shot.
$58. 59.
Gentle cannon here on the middle red in that little cluster. Not with any great speed. Beautiful again. It wasn't a difficult cannon, to be
67.
fair, but he still played it well.
67.
So in the blink of an eye, it's frame ball for 2-2.
74. 75.
Once again, Leo Scullion is one of the keystone cops going around the table. I think you can speed it up.
82. 83. 90. 91.
It's great to watch, isn't it? What a sight. Plays with a lot of, kind of hits the ball with a bit of joy and a bit of, as if he always enjoys playing. It's not always enjoyable if you're not maybe at your best or you're a bit worried about playing the world champion.
Nooh, 98.
Oh, what a
real
shame. No century, but 98 in absolutely no time at all. And this match is just great viewing. A shame he didn't make the century there. We'd like to have seen that. But he's won the frame. And this match now finally poised, level 2-2. To level up. Best of 7, remember, to reach the quarterfinals of this Northern Ireland Open. There's strange times. We're playing this, of course, in Milton Keynes, but the snooker remains as compelling as ever.
Got a message today from someone, Dave. I don't even know if you'll know the answer to this. an extraordinary thing to think of. There's been more competitive frames played at Milton Keynes than at the Crucible. And if they haven't, when will that happen? It's a bit of a... I can see that you've been suitably mind-numbed over that one.
It's a bit late in the evening, isn't it, for things like that? I
It's
mean, there's
gonna
been a
go
lot played.
quiet.
There's been a lot played. I don't think we'd be there yet, though, would we? I wouldn't have thought. We can't be yet.
No, it won't be that long. Yeah, I mean, people think of some things, don't they? 40 odd years, whatever it is. The Crucible, 43 years. Anyway, for another time.
Well, there could yet be, of course, a lot more snooker. We've got the UK Championship, the Scottish Open, the World Grand Prix this year. Who knows about the Masters and tournaments next year? We'll see. John Higgins has won the first frame against Ding Junhui. By the way, if you're joining us tomorrow, as hopefully you will be, 12 o'clock, so we're on air earlier. First match, Judd Trump, Scott Donaldson. That's followed by Ali Carter against Kurt Mafflin in the afternoon.
One of those shots where he didn't really want to go for it, but he can't leave it over the pocket. But he felt as if getting on a colour was going to be a tough one. At first sight, I thought maybe something that might go to the left middle, but clearly not. He'd have seen it. What's he doing here? He has looked at about 10 different options so far. None of them he particularly likes. Back on this thing where he's looking at elevating the butt of the cue and just screwing back to the black cushion for a second. Whether he can do that or not. The double to the left middle.
Well, we expected, of course, I mean, these two are right up there, second and third on the average shot time, so we expected it to be quick. It has been. These are the average shot times as it stands. Tepchire, 15.5 seconds. O'Sullivan around 17.
One.
I was interested in what you said about that Jamie Wilson actually being the quickest. Of course, it's a very small sample size. He's not played many matches, but he is quite an exciting player, albeit not backing out with a lot of victories, but he's a player that's got something. Very young player. On for the future. Anyway, he's off again here.
Four. Five.
Well, he looks composed, doesn't he? He put together a nice break in the last frame. That green, I mean, that was a little pressure shot because he was always playing down for reds. So, as you say, back in. Remember, as I said earlier, part of his education was watching Ronnie O'Sullivan videos. He's his snooker idol. But that all goes out the window when you're out there. You've got to focus on what you're doing.
$20. 21.
Just slightly awkward cueing here. The bridge hand is not look comfortable. But he's got over it.
28. 29.
Never accuse you of over-analysing shots like some players do. It's really not his style. Just points his cue and plays the shot. Now, is he okay here? It must be tight. He can just get to that bottom red. Not much room. Maybe he has to just turn it with a bit of left-hand side. Sometimes on a shot like this, he must take a fraction more time. He's looking at a different option.
$47.
Over the left-hand side, hold for the black.
Thai snooker then has a new star. James Watanabe it was who led the way. Late 80s into the 90s, was world number 3, won 3 ranking titles, famously made a 147 at the British Open. Very bittersweet day for him. It was the day that his father was killed back in Bangkok. But this is the new generation, and what an exciting talent.
45.
And of course, Nopin Senkarm came very close to joining him, lost out 4-2 to Scott Donaldson this evening.
$51. 52.
Well measured little
59.
cannon there. Where you kind of look at the break time and 4 minutes and a few seconds and he's almost won the frame.
$60.
Yeah, the longest frame in this match so far was frame 2. That was 12.5 minutes. It's the longest frame. So a couple of balls away from going back in front. Of course, he won the first frame. Oh, he's missed that one. Wow. Just needed the black as well.
Well, it's one of those. If Sullivan can pop this red and get in, it might be a costly miss.
1.
Too early to say he'll win the frame, but should he do so, it would hurt that man sitting there.
8.
He missed a very easy red there. be wrong to say he rushed it, because clearly that's how he plays all the
No.
time. You can't have it both ways.
Just came out of nowhere.
Sixteen. 70.
Whether he clears or not, he'll read the signs of the importance of him doing so if he can get this clearance. It would be quite a serious blow to Tepchara and Nooh's chances of beating him. But there's a lot of work to do. Next couple of shots not easy, even this cutback red.
$25.
Wants to be a little bit careful with the amount of points he takes here. I don't think he can afford too low a value colour. 6 points to play with. He's just checking that out. I think if he plays on the blue, that will be more than enough. But should he take anything lower in value, then he is running a bit low on reserves on how many points he can afford to drop. A little pause. Sometimes a good idea to take stock of situation. Worth the wait. It was a good shot that. He's got a little angle here. He may have the angle to move the red. Oh, what a delight. Absolutely delightful shot. The shot before on that one in a row. Magnificent.
46.
So that missed red to the right middle from Tepchara. Nooh looking now like a big mistake. As I say, just came out of nowhere. He's going so well, looking so confident.
Got to finish this off now, and that was a nice shot with left hand reverse screw. Everything's available. You just got to join the dots, really.
45.
All the momentum was with the tie. It's turned round.
I don't think Ronnie's entirely comfortable out there. Lots of grunting and groaning, and there you hear him again, deep breaths. Still pulling the balls, not reflected in what he's doing on the table.
57.
This clearance is why Ronnie O'Sullivan is a great champion.
63.
Yes, he's pounced and punished the error, a big error from Tepchara. This frame should have been his.
70 and the frame.
Broke down on 66, missing that red. Ronnie O'Sullivan has stepped in with a killer clearance of 70, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is one away from victory, leading 3-2. He leads 3-2.
Good tip jar. Frame 6.
He'll be in our studio if he wins. If you want to send any questions, queries to him or any other members of the team, the hashtag is Home Nations. By the way, John Higgins and Ding Junhui are 1 each. Ding won the second frame after Higgins won the first. Could be O'Sullivan Higgins tomorrow night. We'll see.
One.
Very telling frame. That last one. It was going the way of Tepchaya. You know, when you're sitting in your chair, you think maybe, well, I'm not going to get a chance this frame. And then all of a sudden, something comes up and you've got to be ready for it. And that is where champions are separate from the rest, really. Shot, meaning that it wasn't a good shot, overscrewed. But Ronnie O'Sullivan would have realised the importance of making that clearance in the context of this fairly short match.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 3.
Right, Tepchaya with another early chance back. Definitely not entirely comfortable, is he, out there? I don't know if that was in pain or whether he was just annoyed.
1.
Now the question is, what has Tepchaya got after to find a way to recover from that? He'd been thinking about the ready missed all the way through that O'Sullivan clearance.
Nine.
Give that plenty to get the cue ball out into an area where he thought he'd be on one, but he's unlucky to hit the cushion. It's one of these, it's a little close to the in-off in the right corner, I think, if he plays it slowly. It's okay, good shot.
14.
Good recovery.
Fifteen.
Thing is, he's not missed a lot tonight, but what he has missed has been really costly. And if he misses again, it could be end the match.
Good game of snooker this though, Dave, isn't it, these two? We expected it to be good, and it is living up to it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
23.
This is, of course, it's a game, it's a professional sport, it's also entertainment. And this match is really entertaining.
$28. 29.
And both players' pot success rate into the 90s. Both playing pretty rapidly as well. At that speed, the cue ball is likely to arc
46.
away from the reds, and I think that's what happened. What a place for the cue ball to finish. I think played slower, he might have got the bunch open there.
Tepchaya to Nooh, 36.
Cue ball is racing.
Mind it on.
Happening now. Got some refreshments.
Yeah, he quite likes to have some hot water sometimes in his corner. Might not have time to drink it though, because he's in here in the frame. He needs to win the match as he switches to his left hand. Of course, we saw Matthew Stevens do that against him in a big moment in their match this afternoon. Frame 4, Matthew looking to go 3-1 up. Rather than get the rest out, switched hands, missed the black, lost the frame, lost the match. Sullivan's changed his mind, taking the green with the rest.
Yes, pretty good decision by the looks of things.
Five.
So it's a chance to get this wrapped up. Tepchire desperately hoping for another chance.
Shake of the head there. He's probably just thinking about a couple of shots that have got away, but probably that red more than ever in the previous frame. Looked a little bit disconsolate there. He's not lost yet, but of course it's out of his hands at this stage with O'Sullivan in.
12.
I think he's been very businesslike in the tournament, hasn't he, Ronnie O'Sullivan? He was saying this afternoon he's enjoying just being out there playing. But he's also competing hard in all departments. This has been a much more flowing match than the one with Matthew Stevens.
Yeah, there was an element of frustration in some of these home nations, I think, the way that he played, some of the shots he played against players he felt he would beat. Maybe now that he's world champion again, he just views everything a little differently.
Well, despite all the shocks and surprises, we still have a potential Trump O'Sullivan final for the third year running. There's a lot of players with plenty to say about that.
32.
But it's still on, and Ronnie O'Sullivan getting closer to putting himself in the last 8.
Well, the red on the right cushion is very much in play, and of course he will need it. He's only just going to go in front when he pots his next ball. If he would consider moving it here, I don't know if this loses a bit of control of the cue ball if he does play that. Considering playing that and moving the red out, but it's not a certainty you'll end up playing that. Something else in mind now. Not as if the red is impossible to get on as a right-hander that he is.
Playing time for this match has just ticked past an hour.
46.
No, this is almost crunch time in this break and potentially in the match. Well, that's not very easy to pot from where it's finished up. Only 19 in front. Tepchire must think there's a little bit of hope. Ronnie might take this red on, but it's not easy. Up into the top right.
O'Sullivan 52.
Close.
Well, it was match over, pretty much guaranteed had this gone in, but it stayed out.
Mixed feelings for Tepchai. Of course, pleased to be back at the table, but not pleased to be in a snooker. No, Ronnie with another chance. Again, not easy. Well, I think he can get to pot this. Yeah, he can pot this. It's a thin one, and he's a long way away from it.
One.
Late opportunity has arisen here. Right in between shots. Right in between. He's a very attacking player, but he's between shots here. Not easy.
Tepchai and Nooh, one.
Oh, I think that's it. And he just feels always compelled to take these shots on, and that was a nasty little shot to be involved with, really, at that stage of a match. Of course, if it goes in, probably wins in the frame, and that's how he views things. It's a good attitude, but it might not be the way forward as things stand.
Yellow and green required. Frame 5 was huge, wasn't it? Tepchai was looking $1 million, but just missed that red to the right middle. A couple of balls from securing the frame.
5.
O'Sullivan made a wonderful clearance. And Ronnie O'Sullivan's going to be in the quarterfinals.
9.
Terrific game. It was never going to be anything else, these two. They played with such fun, such sort of vigour and enjoyment. It's very easy viewing, isn't it?
O'Sullivan, 9.
It was terrific viewing. Tepchai and these two snookers. So all over.
Yep, indeed. Game, set, match. Ronnie looking a little uncomfortable, but played pretty well, all things considered. Part of the important ones, Dave.
Yeah, made the important clearance, didn't he? It was a terrific match, great viewing. Tepchai and Nooh more than played his part, but it's Ronnie O'Sullivan into the quarterfinals. He's beaten Tepchai and Nooh 4-2.